All right, what is up, everybody? So I just listened to a podcast. Shout out to Brian Buffini. He entitled "Dare to Be Great in Times Like These" or something like that. But dare to be great, and it really kind of like, oh, have you ever just like needed a word and like you just get the word and you're like, oh my goodness. And I was listening to this and kind of thinking about what's the best way to kind of lay it out to the team. And I see across the world right now, everybody is caught up in kind of what's going on, and it's so easy to kind of affect us in so many different ways. And it's hard not to have a change of attitude. But he talks about in this dare to be great. Dare, the D is for discipline, A is for attitude, R is actually for relax. So relaxation is important, and E is for energize. And he was just talking about attitude and the importance of mindset and attitude, which I think is so very critical. And he shared this poem that Charles Swindoll had written. It was inspired after he was watching a fiddle player, and he was just like fiddling away on his fiddle, and one by one the strings on his fiddle kept popping off. But he never changed his mindset. He never changed his attitude. He kept playing strong, had a smile on his face, and kept going. And so I just wanted to read the poem to you. And he says, "The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It's more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances." Sorry. "Than failure, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It's more important than appearance, than giftedness or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, or a home." And so many times I try to relate, I've been talking for all year about the fact that business is relationships, and a lot of this information and advice and things that we want to work inside and outside of business. Our core values of personal and professional development, like so many things kind of, our lives, it's impossible to separate our lives 100% with business and personal life, right? And so many things are intertwined, and it's so important. And he continues on and says, "The remarkable thing is that we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We can't change the inevitable. There's so many things that we can't change, right? The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude." He says he's convinced that life is 10% what happens to him and 90% of how he reacts to it. And I'm sure some of you have heard that quote before, or maybe all of you have heard that quote, but it came from this entire poem. And so it was with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. And it's just like, there's so many different opportunities all the way along life, and as I've continued this journey and as entrepreneur world, and I have to catch myself sometimes to reframe my attitude and reframe my gratitude, and in looking at things through a different lens. The idea of like grass is greener on the other side and all that kind of stuff. Like so many times, attitude is so critically important. You can relate this to like working out. If you've ever worked out and been bench pressing, as soon as you change your attitude, like, shoot, this is too heavy for me, you're done. It's toast. So many different ways that this is applicable, but it was so much that I was so excited and invigorated by it, but it was a word that I needed to hear today. I didn't even want to wait to put it out. So I just want to kind of put it out to you guys today. Just, you can go and find the podcast. It was a great podcast to listen to, but even if nothing else, hopefully this can kind of give you guys some encouragement. The attitude is so important in our personal and professional lives, and we have so much more control over it than we sometimes allow ourselves. There's too many things that we can't control, but our attitude we can, even in spite of difficult times. So this too will pass, shall pass, will pass, and let's pass through it together. Rely on each other, and reach out if you guys need anything.